This Christmas, I got an Ancestry.com DNA kit as a gift from my mom. Naturally, when your mom gives you a DNA test, you start to think you're probably adopted. So I opened up my kit, and it came with this fun little test tube that I got to put a whole bunch of saliva in, and then put it in the mail and send it off to Ireland to have my DNA analyzed. Ancestry.com was super great. They let me know when the package had arrived, and then they let me know when the package was being processed, and then they sent me an email yesterday that said, the results are in.
Okay, we're gonna find out. When it comes to 9-month-old Nariah, Maurice, you are not.
When people ask me, what are you, or where's your heritage, where are you from, I just give them the really simple answer that I'm Scottish and French Canadian. Obviously, being named Michelle Rivard, it's very Quebecois. People see it all the time, and they just start talking to me in French. And I feel French. I don't feel like a Quebecer, obviously. I've never lived in Quebec. Growing up in Vancouver and being a French speaker is not very common, but I've always felt a really strong connection to my French heritage. And even though I know I'm only 25% French, well, I don't know, I suspect I'm only 25% French, it's just the part that kind of sticks out the most to me. When I went to Paris, I was like, finally, I'm home, and, eating baguettes and drinking red wine and indulging in all the French way of life things. They're my jams. I'm super French. It's who I am. So my prediction is basically that: Scottish, English, French. And then I guess I also wouldn't be surprised to see like a little bit of maybe like Native American or Métis, obviously having a family that's been in Quebec for 400 years. I think it's highly likely that there's that in there too. From Ancestry DNA, I learned that I am 44% what they call Ireland/Scotland/Wales. And then there was a little kind of asterisk thing next to Scotland. So I don't know, maybe they don't know how to differentiate between those, but basically I am from that collection of islands, primarily Scotland, 44%. So yes, I definitely expected that. Number 2 is not something I expected to see. This is the second most common ancestry in my DNA, 17% Scandinavia. Okay, I don't know where that came from or who that came from, but I have learned I am 17% Swedish. The next one on the list is 14% at Europe West. So I assume Europe West really does mean France. So instead of 25, it's 14. And I am more Scandinavian than French. Then it gets kind of interesting. We've got 12% Europe South, which according to their little map is like Italy. And 9% Iberian Peninsula. So that would be like Spanish. So that math works out to 96%. The other 4% they said was low confidence regions, so maybe they just couldn't pinpoint it exactly, but it said 3% Great Britain and 1% Northwest Russian. So that's it. That's my DNA analysis. If we round these numbers around, I am like half Scottish. No surprise, totally knew that. I can't say that I'm surprised to see like Italian or Spanish because, migration through the region, like people moved from there and then they were in France for a long time, then they came to Quebec or whatever. Scandinavian, I guess maybe a lot of Scottish people are also kind of Scandinavian too, from like Viking conquerors coming over. I have learned from this DNA test that I am in fact the whitest person in the world. I got no sub-Saharan African, I got no Asian, I got no Mongolian, I don't have any of that Ashkenazi Jewish or whatever, the one that travels around. I am white. So white. Look at me. I can't dance. I like country music. Penne Alfredo is the best. And I'm super fond of chicken fingers. So not only am I being really confronted with the fact that I am, in fact, the whitest person in the world, I have to be confronted with the fact that I'm not really that French. So I guess it's time to rebrand. Let me introduce myself. Hello, I'm Michaela Johannesson, and I am Swedish.